Okay, the 4-hour chart definitely trending upwards, but we're at a peak. We can see that the MACD is curling over and possibly dropping, and the RSI is super high, and we are really, really close to the highest that we've ever been in history. We've actually gotten to the high from June 24th here. So that was, let's see, June 24th. So that was just a couple days ago. Anyway, I am thinking, I'm kind of conflicted this morning. I still think it has that tendency to want to test that high up there, like I wrote here on my chart. However, I do think a lot of the indicators are showing that the upward momentum is definitely slowing down and leveling out, and we're going to be dropping here soon. And when you look at the 15-minute chart here, the MACD, it's kind of small here, but you'll see it later on. I referenced it a couple times. The MACD is starting to curl over and look like it's turning down. That is just the 15-minute chart. It's not the really short-term charts. But here on the 15-minute chart too, I drew an orange band that it has kind of gone back and forth in. You can see this is where a lot of the volume orders are. I mean, we have nodes here below as well. This one, I believe, is sitting there because of the 180 SMA on this chart. So it's very, very possible that if it does drop, it will go down to the 6119 level and then probably bounce from there, but that's a long ways out. So either it's going to go up and test that level, or it's going to drop. And I am not sure, really not sure. So we're going to have to trade kind of short term and just watch it real close. Okay. This chart, the 5-minute chart here, does look like it's ready to head down here soon. MACD is bearing that out as well. And looking at the news, it just generally looks kind of hopeful, but wavering, like not really sure. They're just trying to parse all of this news, this information. Seems to be positive in a lot of areas, but yet there's a lot of unknowns. So, okay, I have adjusted all of my lines and things, I believe, except I didn't get the POC and the volume high, I don't think, quite set up yet. All right, so the first order, I saw it kind of dropping, and I got into a short here and set my stop up here above the SMA, and the sell is kind of in between the SMA and the POC, which at this moment is down here. And it kind of looked like it was starting to bounce and head up. And then it did get up to the POC, and all of a sudden the POC is now up here. So that's kind of interesting. And also note that it is exactly at the top of that orange band that I had drawn in, which may not be exactly right, but it's very, very close to a pretty good resistance level. So I'm not too worried at this point, but I mean, we're within a few ticks of getting stopped out here. A little bit nervous. And we had a little wick that jumped up and knocked me out. Looking back on that trade, I do think I got in near the bottom of this zigzaggy movement. That was what I initially thought. I was waiting for it to, let me go back again. I was waiting for it to, if I could have waited till it got up a little bit higher here instead of at the low. This is pretty clearly a low. The only reason that I think it might be dropping is that the MACD is still pointing down, and we have a POC way down there, which disappeared and changed a short while later. So I don't know, that might have just been one of those unfortunate trades. I don't think it was a horrible trade, but I did get stopped out, and so the first trade was a loss of like $170-ish. So all right, and then it kind of petered out and started to drop again, and I decided, well, I hadn't really changed my mind. I just wanted to get in at a better place, and I think this is it. The MACD is looking good. Got into a sell, put my exit order or my stop order here, and my exit order is there right on the blue SMA. And that is above that node there. So, all right, it is dropping that, fighting the drop really, really hard, and keeps getting up to that point. We can see that the candles that are formed here are bigger than the ones that are dropping. So there's kind of generally more excitement about going up, I would say. It's a little hard to tell. It's still before opening bell. So it's a little hard to tell yet. And unfortunately, I got stopped out again. And this time it went up just a little bit higher than those last peaks that formed. So I decided at this point, I'm just going to wait a while, maybe to even to opening bell. And I just gotta wait to see what's happening with the market, because there's too much uncertainty right now. I haven't really changed my mind necessarily, but it just keeps stopping me out. So I need to wait for a good opportunity, and I need to wait for some clarity on where the market's going. And wouldn't you know it, just dropped really good right there. And then it bounced up, and I thought, okay, at this point we're starting to see higher lows, higher highs. I am inclined to think that it's going to be going up. I don't know if it's going to be going up this far or it's going to peter out there, but I did get into a long position. I think I got in at a pretty good place here. I have a really, really tight stop with 2 false starts and 2 losses of, let's see, I guess that would have been around $300, $400, $350 maybe. Altogether. I wanted to be really cautious and not put too much risk on the table. So I put a really tight stop there, and I'm hoping that it will go up, expecting it to go up. Okay, it went up there, and I could have gotten out at like $100 profit, but I didn't. I was waiting, and it is wavering right into this place 5 minutes before opening bell. And I have my stop below that point right there. And at opening bell, it made some big movements, but it didn't really get very far up or down, and ended up kind of heading up. So I was very hopeful at this point that I would be reaching this goal up here, which was pretty lofty. As you can see here, I'm sitting at a $225 profit, but I did not move my stop up because I was pretty confident that it was going to get up there. And then it dropped. And at this point, it's like, okay, I've pretty much lost all my profits, still in the green. I do think it'll probably bounce at this point, so I didn't change anything. And then it dropped some more and I got stopped out. I was shocked. I did not see that coming. So, 3 losses in a row. Now I've lost, let's see, I started off at 837, now I'm at 412. So now I've lost over $400. So that is not a good start to the day. But I haven't given up. It's now 9:53, and I've waited for it to make a turn, a decisive turn. And it did drop below that blue SMA quite a bit further than I had expected. But this does really look like a good opportunity to get into a long. Still think it's going to get up there. So I put my exit order in way up there, and now I'm in a long position. Okay, it's looking good. This time I raised up my stop. Just going to be a little more on the cautious side. It's like, okay, I'm going to lock in $137 profit, and locked it in as it went up. And here, I believe I got stopped out at this point. So I actually made $275 on this trade, and I got stopped out. So I'm happy with that. That was well done. That was a lot more protective of my bottom line than I was on the other 2 trades, or at least 1 trade. I should have followed it up and not just expected it to go to the highest high that I could imagine. But oh well, live and learn. All right, here is another one. Waited for it to drop down. Looks like it's going to bounce off the SMA. Got into. Wait, that looks like, is that a short? No, nope. This is a long again. Cool, good. All right. Got into a long here. I just haven't set my stop loss here. I just grabbed my screenshot before I did that. Got into a long, still expecting it to get up to that point. Backed out just to kind of get some perspective. Again, a 15-minute chart now that the market's been open for 40 minutes or so. And the MACD on the 15-minute chart is very concerning. And I'm in a long position, which is at a very small loss. I lowered my expectations down. And, let me go back again. I lowered my expectations. Okay, let's see here what's going on. Okay, I got it at 155. I was only expecting $187 in profit, and I raised my stop up really, really tight here. I cannot remember how this trade ended up. I think I got stopped out, it looks like. All right, so at this point, with the 15-minute MACD weighing on my mind, and we're seeing kind of a loss of momentum here. Let me go back one more time to that 15-minute, because you can also see on this chart, you have to go back a little ways, but we can see this peak here is lower than this peak, even though the price action's higher. So we're seeing a loss of momentum right through this area, even though the price action's kind of going up right through this area. So this part of the RSI, even though it's higher, it fought against it pretty good, but I think that we need to be really cautious and perhaps expect more of a downturn than we are seeing. Okay, so I got into a short here and set my stop up here at the POC, which is kind of likely in some ways to get stopped out. That's not real good. And then I've also got previous day's POC here, which is where I put my exit order. That is also the high from June 24th, so that's kind of a support level again. And I followed it down and got stopped out at a smallish sort of profit, but at least it was a decent profit. At least it was a profit, I should say. All right, it went up and petered out, and now it's starting to drop again. So I tried it again, got into another short. Same positions for those. I should have waited. I kind of knew that the potential was to get up there, but with all of that mess right through here, I didn't know if it was going to get up there or not. So I allowed it to move at that point and went out and looked at some news. Kind of interesting. And then it's at it's 10:54 right now. And so I need to get busy with other things. I'm kind of looking at the pattern that it's formed and thinking, yeah, it's probably going to drop. It's not a runner sort of day. It's not going to go taking off in one direction or the other. There's a lot of uncertainty. It's pretty flat. I don't think I need to worry about getting too big of a loss, and it will definitely come back down again. So I just canceled that stop this time. And I put my exit order in down here at that same point and walked away. And I think this is an okay idea. It's looking like a good setup. I'll just kind of watch it periodically as I come back. And next time I came back, it was at this place right here, and I was very happy. It didn't quite get to where that alert had been set right there, but looked very promising. And so when it made that drop, that one last drop, you can see how close I am here. I went ahead and put in a stop to lock in those profits. And I believe what happened was I raised up my limit order and caught it at a pretty low price right through here, which gave me go back again. It gave me just over, actually just under $100 profit for the day. So that was a lot of work for not a lot, but anyway, that's the way it goes.